Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell for Distraction. Every now and then, my favorite guest comes on the show, and I am so glad to welcome her today. I'm talking, of course, about Jessica McCabe from How to ADHD. Today, we're bringing her specially, sponsored by Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, the college of choice for students who learn differently. Jessica has been helping the world of ADHD for I don't know how long, but she's truly one of the angels, the guardian angel of ADHD, and her wonderful program, How to ADHD, continually turns out brilliant. As always, I'm just tickled to have Jessica McCabe here with us. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you. And I'm actually really excited about the topic today because we're going to talk about something that I really wish that I had done a lot better in college, which is balancing your school life and your social life, like how to prioritize that effectively. Socializing is already hard for those of us with ADHD because, you know, our brains work differently and there's a developmental delay as well. So we can seem kind of immature and not quite fit in with our peers. And there tends to be a lot of sensitivity to rejection, and there tends to be a lot of rejection. So it's already a challenge to deal with social life. But then you get to college and then you really have to balance and prioritize everything yourself. There's nobody telling you, okay, now you have to go to class. Like now you have to stop talking to your friend and go to class and like have somebody drive you to class because you're responsible for getting yourself to class on time. Your professor is not going to call your mom and be like, Jessica wasn't in class today. So you really are responsible for your own balance in a way that you haven't been before. And there's also new challenges that pop up. And finding that balance is challenging. And I think that some of us fall on the side of socializing too much. We tend to avoid schoolwork, put it off, and end up talking to people all night long and Skyping with them to quote study, and then end up chatting all night. I tended to fall a little bit toward the other side where I'm like, I'm too busy. Like I don't have time for friends. I can't hang out. I can't do anything because I'm so behind. Right. And so what you need is going to vary depending on like where you fall on that spectrum. But I think that the thing that can help all of us is a little bit of mindfulness, paying attention to like what our body needs and what our body's telling us, because loneliness is a real thing, and loneliness is a signal just like hunger is a signal that you need to eat. Loneliness can be a signal like, hey, it's time to go spend time with friends. It's a need, just like eating, just like sleeping, just like anything else. We do need to socialize. And nobody told me that. I did have one friend who gave me a children's book when I was in college. It said, it was called Time for Friends, because I really didn't get it. I really didn't. And part of that was that I had trouble having satisfying friendships. And so I wish that I'd spent a little bit more time looking into that and paying attention to how I felt around the person too. Like there were people that I had in my life that I think just didn't treat me very well. And so like at the time I really didn't understand friendship. I thought that a friend was somebody to like make you not look like a loser at a party, who got mad when you didn't text them often enough. Like there were so many challenges for me with friendship that it was just easier for me to kind of cut it out completely. But the truth is like, I suffered because of that. I didn't have somebody to lean on when I was going through something hard. I didn't have the close interpersonal relationships and the accountability to get me to stay in school and to face the challenges that I was facing. I just kind of like got battered around by life a lot because I didn't have a close support system. And I think that support system is really important. I mean, you talk about this a lot, right? Vitamin C, the connection.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you didn't have that.
I didn't, no. And part of the challenge that I face, and I think this is part of prioritizing, is I would prioritize, relationships that were like new and novel. And so like I would start dating somebody and I would not call my friends. Like I wouldn't do my homework. Like I'd fall into this kind of hyper-focus mode. Like we tend to fall into a lot, whether it's a new friend or a new like relationship, we tend to like spend all our time and energy hyper focusing on this one relationship. And so the older, more meaningful, more developed friendships kind of suffered. And so that was part of it. I lost the friends that I had in high school because I didn't make time for those friendships. And I really wish that I had. I would find a new relationship and I'd I'd be in that new relationship and at the expense of my friendships. And then I would, that relationship would end and I'd kind of be on my own. And just again, like focusing on work, focusing on school. And then I'd find a new relationship. And so as a result, I spent a lot of time on relationships, but didn't have a lot to show for it at the end of the day because my romantic relationships would end and my friend relationships would kind of fall by the wayside. So it's not just about, I don't think, balancing like school and social life, but also balancing your social life itself. Like how much time do you spend with a relationship versus how much time do you spend with new friends versus how much time do you spend with old friends? And I think mindfulness can kind of help with all of that. Like just pay attention and make an effort to prioritize the friends that have been there for you, that have, the older friendships, because our brains do naturally prioritize the new and the novel and the exciting. We almost have to like shift into a gear where we are actively trying to prioritize the people that we've already known for years, because those really are the friendships that are the most valuable and that will get us through life, all the ups and downs and challenges of life, and that can remind us of the lessons that we've learned that maybe we've forgotten. They can be like, last time you tried this though, that didn't work out so well for you. Like maybe take this course, or maybe do this with your course load this semester, or don't take that job. I think this job would be better suited to you. Only the people who know you really well can guide you like that, can help you through things like that. So it's important, I think, to prioritize those friendships. And I'm speaking so passionately about this because I lost so many friends, to the new and the novel relationship or job, or, this class but this is really hard. I don't have time for friends. I've got to focus on this class and this homework. And I lost so many friends because of that I wish that I hadn't. I wish that I'd spent more time with my friends.
Did you graduate from college?
I didn't, no. And that, I think, is part of it. I didn't have the social support system to get me through. And, teachers weren't worried about me. I was smart. I went to a guidance counselor who's like, you're going to go to a 4-year university. I'm not worried about you. And so I kind of got lost in the shuffle. And I was always pursuing like what was interesting to my brain. Like, they say like, oh, if it's important enough to you, you'll do it. Well, my brain and a lot of ADHD brains are like, well, if it's stimulating enough to you, you'll do it. So I was always chasing the new thing. And without that support system, without my friends to be like, hey, you said this was really important to you. You wanted to go to USC. You wanted to be a journalist. Like I didn't have the support that I needed. I was like, I'm going to be a journalist. So I took ballet and fencing, but I didn't have, anybody holding me accountable.
Did you know you had ADD then?
I did, but all I had at the time was medication, and I didn't know how my ADHD was affecting me. Like I didn't know half of what I know now. Like now I know if I take my meds, like to work around my meds, like whatever that looks like for you, I know when my meds wear off, it's better to be around people who I'm close to and won't judge me for being silly or saying something impulsive. I also know if I've got a lot of work to do, I should do it while my meds are in effect. I know that for me, it's better to have a consistent schedule. I know that I need accommodations. At the time, I didn't think so. I was like, I'm smart. I can do it. I'm just not doing it. It's my fault. I've got all this potential. Everybody says so. Like, I'm smart. Why can't I just do it? Why can't I just do well on my own? And it's like, I really did need support, but I just didn't understand it at the time. And I didn't understand how it was impacting my social life too. Like boundaries. I was never good at boundaries. So let's say like I didn't want to disappoint people. I was a people pleaser. And so, instead of being like, oh, I'm only going to like, I have to go because I got to go home and study or whatever. Like if I did go out, I would let them talk me into staying out later because I didn't want to disappoint them. And then I would do poorly on a test the next day. And because my boundaries were so bad, I ended up having to put up walls basically and say like, no, I can't go out. Like I can never go out. I only have to work. There was a lot that I wish I had done differently.
So when did things start to come together for you?
Honestly, when I started learning about my ADHD, when I started learning about my brain, which wasn't until I was 32, and I started my YouTube channel because I left college thinking like maybe I'll have more success, with my acting career, and I didn't, or maybe I'll have more success with this or that or whatever, and I just kept bouncing around to things and not really ever finding success, but working so hard, and again, like not making time for friends.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But so then at 32, you started your YouTube channel.
I did, yeah. I was like, what? Why am I working so hard and getting nowhere? Like maybe if I take some of this effort that I'm putting into working so hard and put it into figuring out why my effort is getting me nowhere, like maybe I'll get somewhere. And so I started learning about ADHD, and everything that I learned, I put on YouTube so I could actually find it again. And I made it public in case it was helpful for anybody else. And it turns out it was. And that was a really cool thing for me, because for the first time, my work was not something that isolated me from everybody else. It was something that started connecting me with other people. Connecting you,
yes. And you've helped so many people with that. It's a wonderful story. I think, you know what I think, I think it's the key to everything. Vitamin Connect, vitamin C, and the world needs it so much. But you've discovered it, and you stayed true to yourself, and now you're in a wonderful place.
Yeah, and it's funny because through, being a workaholic and being a perfectionist and trying so hard and working so hard, I found what's really important. I started this channel to figure out how to overcome all my challenges. And the truth is, what I found was much more powerful than that. It was that we don't have to overcome all of our challenges to be acceptable, to be loved, to connect with other people, and to be able to enjoy, to be able to stop and enjoy life. We don't have to finish every assignment and be on top of everything. And that's, I think, really important. I wish I could go back and tell myself that, because I thought that I did. I thought that I hadn't earned the right to stop and enjoy life and be among other people until I was finished with everything. And now I understand, it's all synergistic now. Connecting with my tribe, it gives me the strength that I need and the support that I need to then go and do amazing things. I'm much more successful now than I was when I was just focused on work, because the truth is, we're not individual, isolated creatures. We need each other. We're built to be in a tribe. We're built to connect with each other. We're built to support each other and lean on each other for that support. The whole no man is an island thing, nor should we be. We can accomplish so much more with each other's support, with each other's help. And so, yeah, that does require every once in a while being okay, I can go out tonight, but I have to leave after 2 hours. And setting that expectation ahead of time, by the way, is helpful, because it's really hard to be at a party and tell your friend you have to leave because you have to go do work and watch the look of disappointment on their face. It's so much better to set that expectation ahead of time. But we do need to have some boundaries around our social life if that's starting to become an issue. But yeah, that's, I hope Landmark doesn't hate me for this, but socialize. Please do that, because it is so important. I think Landmark would absolutely agree. And no one wants to see you leave, Jessica, but we do. Time has come for us to say goodbye. But we will have you again very soon for another special episode sponsored by Landmark College. So remember, please, to subscribe to Distraction if you haven't already, so you don't miss that episode and all of our other episodes. And be sure to check out Jessica McCabe's wonderful website, howtoadhd.com. As always, Jessica, you're just a delight to listen to and learn from, and thanks for sharing so much personal story and wisdom and just fun. Thanks a million for being with us. Thank you. And if there's time for this, great. If not, I understand. But there is a really cool book that I'd recommend, because, when you're a kid, you run around, you get a lot of cuts and bruises because you're out trying new things and riding bikes and climbing trees and getting scraped up. In college, you're doing a lot of running around emotionally, so you get a lot of emotional cuts and bruises. So there's this great book I'd recommend by Guy Winch called Emotional First Aid. And it allows you to get out there and deal with the potential of rejection that we face, and deal with the anxiety of making new friends, and take care of ourselves, and also know how to take care of our friends too.
Well, you are, as always, a delight to talk to. And we should mention our sponsor, a place both Jessica and I are devoted to, Landmark College in Putney, Vermont, the college of choice for students who learn differently. Thank you, Landmark College, for sponsoring this episode. And if you'd like more information about Landmark College, please go to lcdistraction.org. Jessica McCabe, you are a blessing, and everything you do so very, very well.
Thank you, Dr. Hallowell. I'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.